I think one of the biggest problems in the non-dual space right now is, what we call neo-Advaita, or this spiritual bypassing that's going on. You're not that trauma, you're not this, you're not that. Just realize what you are. It is very toxic and very painful for people, and creates a lot of drama and problems. You may need therapy, you may need healing, but you need to go through whatever it is that's holding you back. They're prisons, not you specifically, just because what the uncomfortable truth is, it isn't spoken about enough, is our body is full of trauma and history, thousands of lifetimes of living, and there's been some pretty horrible eras, and we've been through all sorts, and it's stored in our body in memory. And if that's not acknowledged and we just go for this heady, you're nobody and nothing, that's going to come up. If an awakening happens, it's not going to last long, because the memory stick, suddenly the gates are open and the memory stick's going to empty real quick, and it's not going to be fun. Do you know what I mean? People don't like to hear this, and it's probably one of the reasons I don't have a huge audience, because if you want a huge audience, you don't tell people the truth. You give them convenient truths. You're nobody and nothing, and keep repeating that. But I'm seeing a lot of damage done by it, and a lot of harm, and it's damaging the integrity of the space and those that are doing the hard work. And it's important that you recognize that, yes, there is no I ultimately, but there's been trauma and damage all through our system over long periods of time, and it's important to talk through it and work through it and undo. In my view, in my experience, that's how I did it. And I'm just not seeing the evidence that with fairly large data sets of people saying I'm nobody and nothing and being in those environments actually getting success. And I've met a lot of very bitter people that have been doing it for a long time and not getting the success, and then realizing they've wasted 2 decades. Do you know what I mean? And they could have been going inwards and actually doing the work and undoing these prison bars and opening things up and letting go. Yeah? Does that make sense, what I'm saying? One guy in India, an Australian guy from the East Coast, just remember, he says, I was 2 decades, he was a bit bitter and angry about it, because 2 decades I was doing that for, and he was just angry that he'd been lied to, because he realised, oh no, I've got to go in and do inner work. I can't just skip all that. You just can't. It's not like someone's got a magic formula to skip all that. And if people are pretending they have, I think they're being a bit deceitful, or they're ignorant. And this isn't always an easy path, yeah? And so you get a lot of quite unusual awakenings, quote unquote, and weird things happening when people haven't done the work properly, because those things come up and they'll haunt it. They'll haunt it at some point, if that makes sense. Yeah. I know it's not good news, because we all want this lovely, easy solution that we can just jump to. But do you know Ramana Maharishi? Yeah. Well, just think about how long some of the people that woke up with him were actually with him. There's been decades and really with him. You know what I mean? The modern era is everyone just thinks they can wander in there and within a couple of years they've got it. I don't understand how they can miss that. Do they think all these seekers with him were stupid or something? They were wise enough to know what he was and stay with him. Do you know what I mean? It seems like a bit of a mental bypassing going on. And Ramana did say, this is for the end of the path, what I do. This isn't for the end. And what does he mean by the end of the path? You've done the inner work. You've healed a lot of your trauma. Your nervous system is fairly calm, right? You have a certain degree of silence already. And he would say what I'm saying basically is that for other people, other practices are important. Go do this practice, or go do that practice, or go do this. Get yourself, as the Buddhists would say, cultivate the ground. Right? People want to go straight from the nightclubs to enlightenment in a year or 2. Good luck, And we've been growing up in a very erratic and forceful culture, and that also has to be tuned. In India, that's not so. It's much softer, yeah. So it's a very different environment and teaching system too. We have to acknowledge that. We've grown up in a fairly brutal system here. No, I don't know, high school and school, I don't know about your high school, mine was pretty rough.